Ladies and gentlemen, so Battlefield 2042 has been out for a couple of days now, I think 4 days, and I have already sunk in 30 plus hours into this game, and I spent most of my time sniping. However, I also played a lot of LMG, and this is because in Battlefield 3 I used to play a fuck ton of LMG. So I had like 1,000 plus hours at least in LMGs, and I had like, I think 1.5k hours, 1.5 to 2k hours in Battlefield 3. Okay, that was a while ago, almost 10 years now. It's, I think, 9 years. And basically I had sunk in 1,000 hours, and then I joined a clan, and with that clan I played an LMG player, well, character, right? I played a sub, and I would, you know, supply ammo and do my stuff, and would start to flank. And this is something that I kind of got my own niche for in the clan, is that whenever we had like clan wars versus other people, I would basically try to set up flanks the entire game, and I would usually be able to trade 6-7 kills on those flanks. Now that was a while ago. I hit Overwatch Grandmaster after that, and then after that I kind of stopped playing shooters. And then recently I got into it with Apex again, playing Apex, playing Caustic to Platinum, and then now I'm kind of just hard stuck in not really gold, but like I'm not really playing a lot. So I've just been like, you know, sidelining it next to Don't Starve Together. And this Battlefield hyped me the fuck up, obviously, right? Because I think we saw Frankie on PC return. So if you know, you should definitely look that legend up on YouTube, Frankie on PC. If you haven't heard of him, he's an absolute legend. And he started out, so we dug him out of the grave with that game. And the blue and orange like kind of theme of Battlefield, and a lot of this says we heard you. A lot of you guys wanted a Battlefield 3 like follow, right? I know Battlefield 4 was a thing, but it just wasn't quite there. We're going to try to deliver exactly that. Now, I have played lots of different modes, but we will get into the mode kind of overview a little bit later on. What I want to do in this video is I wanted to talk about my experience, what I've seen, what I've enjoyed, and you know, just whether or not I would recommend to buy the game. Okay, so jumping into the question of would you buy the game, in my opinion it is a pretty clear yes, I would buy it again. But I kind of look at this way. Okay, if you guys have lower end PCs than my PC is a 2080, and it has an i7 970K processor in it, and the processor is hard bottlenecking me. Okay, so what you guys have to know is that your processor has to be up to speed, because right now I'm pulling 90 FPS. I want to 90 to 60. I want to be up to 140, right? My graphics card is at 50%, and that is just because my CPU is like just dying. Okay, so this is number one, and I would recommend you guys to kind of just sub to the channel and wait for me to do these update guides on the FPS situation. I will do them once the full release hits, and then I will do them a little bit later again. And to answer the question if you should buy the game, yeah, so I think that if your PC is too weak, I wouldn't recommend it. If your PC is like mid-range kind of PC, you'll be fine. You will be able to play it. Doesn't mean though that it will be consistent, because there are crashes, there are server disconnects, there are some bugs that will leave you not be able to aim in, or with a 0-second death timer. And as of right now, the only option is to quit out of the game and hope that you get filled back into the game that you queued up into. So right now there's not really any fix to this. Now we might see it coming, but there hasn't been any patch so far, which is already a little bit depressing. But yeah, you know, it is what it is. So if you don't like buggy releases, I would tell you to wait a little bit and see how the game is going to, is going to develop. And again, you guys can stick around on my channel to see, as I think Battlefield so far is definitely going to be a game that, it is definitely going to be one of the 2 games that I play. Don't Starve Together probably still be going to be the main game. So the next thing is, should you buy the game? So if you like games like the Battlefield series, that was Battlefield 3, you should definitely buy it. If you like games that are more in line of the Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1 releases, maybe not, because it is very different. And then the last thing is, if you like games like COD, one thing that I want you guys to know, get into it, is if you have a problem with dying a lot, you should not get into the game, because this game has very strong like air units, and generally vehicles are really a force to be reckoned with, and they are pretty reliably there, and they are like kill streaks in COD. So if you're not a big fan of that, consider not, okay? And the last thing is, if you want to play the new Hazard Zone mode. Now, I will spend a lot of time playing the new Hazard Zone mode in the future, so head on over to twitch.tv, or, my channel, I will have it too. I don't think that this mode is going to be on the same level as Warzone. I don't think so. I think you'll do a better job waiting for the new Warzone map. But this is my opinion, obviously. I would recommend you guys to look into gameplay first, but if you just buy it for the Hazard Zone mod, I wouldn't do it. Okay? I necessarily wouldn't spend that money. Wait for the game to be cheaper. Wait for people to explore Hazard Zone a little bit more, because I think that the Hazard Zone game mode is very shallow. I think this is my prediction, obviously, but I think it is going to be very shallow. We'll see, but I think it is not going to be as complicated as Warzone, because you only have one mission objective, and we'll get into the mission or into the mode overview later on, but basically the way it works is it's very simple. You just have a couple of options to set yourself up, to set your team up with weapons and stuff, and then you drop in, and there's one objective that you have to get, and then you get 2 chances to extract, and that is just all this. That's just all it is. It's really not a lot, in my opinion. All right, so with that out of the way, how did I like the game? I personally find it very enjoyable. However, there are a couple of things that I'm just not happy with. So number 1 is most definitely the lag and just the inconsistency of performance. That one I'm not a big fan, because I think that if the game has constant 60 FPS for me, that would be fine. But the game having 60 to 90 FPS, not a good look. It is not a good look. Now, it needs to be said that in Hazard Zone, it is much better than in other game modes. And we have 123 players on, on the big maps. So on the Conquest maps, we have literally 123 players, I think, or 24, obviously. So very, very, taxing when it comes to that. Also, one thing that you probably have to keep in mind is that it seems in this that the assault rifles aren't as strong as they were in Battlefield 3. Now, this is probably not going to sway you. I personally like it because in Battlefield 3, assault rifles were absolutely goated. And one thing that I personally very much enjoy is the loadout setup. So for anyone who has played Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4, there used to be these loadouts which would be called support, assault, which would be the medic, and then the sniper, or the specialist, I think was the name. And these would have a selection of add-ons that can be used. Now, we switched to a very different system here, which is called the specialist system. And there we have specialists who have certain abilities, and then we can create loadouts that have gadgets in them. And the gadgets can be an anti-air missile, it can be armor plates, and it can be an ammo crate. Now, this is how I created, in my opinion, one of the most broken LMG builds out there, but I will do a video on that later on. I think this might be very unhealthy for the game, because as we explore and find out what is really strong in combination, they will have to do a lot of balancing and a lot of like I say life game support, right? They will have to do a lot of balancing on the issue, and I don't know if that is going to happen, and I don't know if having only 1 or 2 goated weapons is really the play, but we will see how all of that develops. We're obviously very early on in the game, and you know, all of this is still going to happen. But with that out of the way, I mean, I would say that personally the game is absolutely amazing. I have enjoyed myself thoroughly. I've streamed it. I've tried to record this video already like 20 times, which is why I'm stuck on like some phrases that I just keep on using. But there are a couple of things that I'm not happy with, but generally I would say this game for a release for me is a 7 out of 10, which I'm very happy for EA. This is the best grade EA has ever gotten, because releases are absolutely trash, and usually because the developers get rushed by the publisher, and it is always the same in these AAA gaming companies, and I'm not a big fan, but you know, at a certain point you just have to understand it, accept it, and just go with the flow, right? And if you guys have a problem with it, just buy the game once it's fixed. All right, I am very happy with my time in Battlefield so far, with the time I've spent, and I'm going to play much more. It is an absolutely lovely game, and I really hope that you guys will enjoy yourselves as well, or enjoy the fact that you didn't buy it. Hopefully this review will help you guys out with that question. I know it was a lot of rambling, but I kind of want to keep my videos in a more free format and do less scripted content. So if you liked it, I will obviously see you guys in the next videos, and if you didn't, then well, too bad.